Good morning, all of you all. So yesterday we had started with a new chapter, that's evolution, and we had seen certain theories that were put forward by different group of scientists, and we had seen about the chemical evolution, and we had seen about the 7 steps of chemical evolution, which led to biological evolution. And from the biological evolution point of view, we were studying Darwinism, that was Charles Darwin's theories, और उसमें हमने टोटल जो पॉइंट्स देखे थे जो कल हमने सिर्फ उसका एक ओवरव्यू देखा था. टुडे विल गो अहेड विद द डिटेल्स ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट्स, राइट? सो या, before I go ahead with these 5 points of discussion, anyone having any difficulties with yesterday's lecture? Sorry. Anyone having any problem? Or can I move ahead? Can I go ahead? Yeah, fine, fine, fine. Just give me a second. There is some internet disturbance. It might take a minute to get it resolved. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so I guess now I can share. Hmm, so this is what. Okay, fine. So as we know that yesterday we saw these 5 points, right? That is overproduction or enormous fertility or prodigality of production, which was one of the causes of natural selection, right? Then struggle for existence, as I have discussed with you all, intraspecific, interspecific, or environmental competitions, right? Variation, heredity, survival of the fittest, and origin of new species. So now we are going to talk in detail about these 5 things that we had discussed in yesterday's class. So the very first one, of course, is going to be overproduction or enormous fertility or prodigality of production. So every living organism has a great potential for production. See, on the right hand side, you can see these shellfish, as we call them, right? Correct? Yeah. So all organisms have got, tremendous potential for reproduction. They produce more young ones than those which can survive up to maturity. This is the most important point, that especially the lower organisms, those are such that they are going to be producing lot many offspring, right? But out of which very few of them are going to attain maturity. So before they attain maturity, maybe the larval stage, or maybe even the eggs which are going to be laid, or the stages of the developmental stages, they would be consumed during that time by the predators, or they might not be having the right environmental conditions or whatever. Okay, so though they are going to have the capacity to produce many offsprings, it's not necessary always that each and every offspring is going to reach the maturity. Okay, example one, as you can see, single oyster lays about 114 million eggs in a single spawn. So what do you mean by a spawn? The you know the eggs which are laid together, they are in an aggregated form called as spawns. Okay, so one shellfish, see, one single oyster, how much is the capacity to lay that, eggs? 114 million eggs approximately for spawning. Don't you think that's really tremendous? If all eggs hatch out and if all the young ones reproduce for 5 generations, there would be more oysters than the estimated number of electrons in the physical universe of Earth. Obviously, you can't count them also. It's beyond our capacity to count, right? So what happens in such a case? There is going to be struggle for existence. There is going to be natural selection, because of which even the population control will be maintained. Correct? Look at the example 2. An elephant, the slowest breeder, can produce 6 young ones in its lifespan of 100 years. It's very slow breeder. Do you know what is the gestational period of elephants? Does anyone know? Like human beings, the gestational period is? Hmm. Yeah. Correct, correct. It's going to be approximately 2 years. Yes, exactly. So, as in case of human beings, how many days? Do you all remember human reproduction chapter? How many days is the gestational period on an average considered to be the average number of days? How many days? I know it's 9 months. I want days. Very good. Who is this? Yes, Parnavi. Very good, beta. Very good. Who else? Come on, others, please answer. Yes, Vibha. Arya. Correct, correct, correct. Others, come on. No one remembers that? अरे 3 ही बच्चों ने मुझे अभी तक आंसर किया, पर्णवी, विभा एंड आर्या. समीक्षा, वेरी गुड, यस बेटा. Yes, Ashita, even you are right. No problem. So some of you all have answered over here. Yeah, it's approximately 280 days as it is on an average. To be very precise, it's going to be 288, but it could be any time between 270 plus. Okay, so even 270, 275, 280, 288, agree. Okay, so elephant is going to take around 2 years. So imagine the time taken for the breeding season. Okay, so here it's the the slowest breeder, and they are saying that in a lifespan of 100 years, it can produce maximum 6 young ones. Fine. If all the young ones of a female elephant survive and reproduce, about 19 million elephants will be produced in the next 750 years. Okay. Yeah, beta, you're right. You're right, Samiksha. Perfect. Regardless the rate of reproduction of a species, it's the number that remains constant under fairly stable environment because of the struggle for existence. So there are going to be certain cases wherein the offsprings produced would be too large in numbers. uh, they may not reach the maturity. Sometimes it's the environmental factors which do not support the, spawning, or they do not support the breeding or something like that way. So because of this, the natural selection plays on these particular areas. Okay, so you understood what is the meaning of prodigality of production or overproduction or enormous fertility. The first point where the natural selection is going to be working on. Correct. Second is struggle for existence. According to Darwin, individuals multiply in geometric relation, but the space and food remains constant. You know what is geometric and arithmetic proportions, right? So according to Darwin, individuals are going to multiply in your geometric proportions. This leads to competition for getting requirements of food. This competition is called as struggle for existence, right? So here they have given the examples also. Intraspecific, as I said yesterday, between the same species, it's the most severe among the three, right? It is generally for food, shelter, and mating. So food and shelter, I had told you, is common for interspecific also, but mating is going to be only and only for this intraspecific one, right? Example, cow and cow, horse and horse, deer and deer. That is intraspecific type of struggle. Interspecific struggle, Okay. Do you know in intra-specific struggle, there is an example wherein that particular, you will, if you know, you tell me the name of that animal, okay? That particular animal eats its own young ones if it does not get food anywhere. Who's that? Who eats its own young ones? Okay. Yeah. Correct. Yes, Himanshu. Yes, yes, yes. See, lion, tigers, crocodiles. Yeah, I agree. But the very common one, the cats. Okay, they also eat their own young ones if they do not get the source of food. Yes, you're right. You're right, Beta bro. You're right. Yes. So, that is the level of struggle for existence. They don't mind eating away their own, offspring, their own kittens and their own, offspring, but they want to survive. I want to survive. There's a struggle. Okay. So that is intra-specific competition. Okay. Of course, that is with respect to what? That is with respect to killing someone. But there is intra-specific competition taking place with respect to many, like many aspects of life, even in human beings. I like if it's a healthy type of competition, welcome. Like if you struggle among the friends that who wants to become a topper, अरे ये टाइम इसको मिला फुल मार्क्स नेक्स्ट टाइम मैं निकाल के दूंगा फुल मार्क्स, वो वाला हेल्दी कंपटीशन होता है. But like someone is doing good and you try to stop that success is something that is intra-specific struggle again. Of course, it's not for survival directly, but just an example of intra-specific. Correct? Interspecific, different species. It's going to take place between different species. It's severe, but it is not as severe as that of intraspecific. It's for food, shelter, and breeding places. So the places where they are going to dwell, the places where they are going to, they want captivity, those places के लिए यहाँ पर झगड़े होते हैं, fights होते हैं, up to the killing of the other species. हाँ? Example, cow and horse, cow and deer, horse and deer, deer and cow, whatever. Okay, so that is interspecific. Two different species are involved in this particular competition, right? Environmental struggle, it's going to take place between all living forms. All living forms. See, if a lizard comes in your house, आती है कभी छिपकली आपके घर पे आई है कभी? डेफिनेटली आई होगी. सबने ये एक्सपीरियंस करा होगा. कभी ना कभी लाइफ में आपके घर में छिपकली आई है, right? Now when that lizard comes inside, it comes for what? Protection, right? It comes for what? Shelter, food, right? Why does it come there? Assuming that this is my place, right? What you feel, this is my house, how dare this comes inside? इसको पहले बाहर निकालो. बाहर नहीं जाता है तो मारो. Get rid of it. Cockroaches, my own house, right? I can go anywhere, it's my own house. And so these small, insects, reptiles, all these also, they share common places. So it's going to be within all living forms, this type of environmental competition, right? It is less severe, of course. Survival against natural calamities. So, how the conditions are that the natural calamities are going to be uh, what we say experienced, and we have to overcome that just the way that is going on right now, right? As of today, the COVID that is going on right now, don't you think survival against natural calamities? Though we can say it's an artificial calamity because it's man made, as we say, but as of now, it is spreading everywhere as a natural calamity all over the globe. So, we, not only India, not only Mumbai, not only, like Maharashtra, it's everywhere around the globe. And all the, life forms, especially whom the human races have to overcome it. Example, anyone who is under stress of extreme heat or droughts or storms, earthquakes. Just now we were talking yesterday about whom? The Tokte, which you know was experienced by us in the last week. All these are going to be what? All these are going to be natural calamities. And we have to overcome. Those people who can overcome will survive. Those who cannot overcome, there's no other option but to get toll of their life, right? So that is struggle for existence for these three things. Any doubts between all these things? It's simple, right? Okay. Then third is variation and heredity. Yeah. Now what comes under this? See, variations are the differences between individuals of the same species. They may be harmful or neutral, or they may be useful also. Some variations are useful as well. According to Darwin, useful variations are preserved and passed on to their offspring. They play an important role in evolution. Darwin described two types of variations, favorable variations and unfavorable variations. So you can see the variations in one species that is shown over here, the cat family. Look at these cats. They themselves are showing so much of variation with their color combinations, eyes, right? So even in the leaves, if you see, you can see different colored leaves over here. So variations is going to be the basis of evolution. Now, if this variation is not going to occur, if this variation is not going to occur, what would happen, beta? See, for example, there is going to be you know, a very beautiful example given about the moth, industrial melanism, which I'll talk about. In that, you will come to know that why variation is very, very important. It's going to be there. It's a part of our syllabus. Okay, so variation is going to be the key for evolution. It may be harmful, it may be neutral, it may be useful. Okay. Yeah, what do you mean by that, beta? Unfavorable variation means of different color means not match. No, beta. Unfavorable means they are not going to be having any good effect on that particular organism. Okay, that is unfavorable one. So, for example, if I have to tell you, then unfavorable variation may, those people who are light skin, बहुत fair लोग जो होते हैं ना, yes, very good Devang, very good. Those who are light skinned or we call them as albinos, right? So ये जो albinos होते हैं या white skinned लोग होते हैं ना बेटा, they are different from we all, right? See, you can be fair, राइट, फेयर होना कुछ ये नहीं है, लेकिन जब हम शेड्स की बात करते हैं तो जो बहुत ज्यादा फेयर लोग होते हैं ना, दे आर मोर प्रोन फॉर स्किन कैंसर्स, and the people who are dark skinned na, they are automatically going to be saved from the skin cancers. So what is the benefit or what is the harm of having the skin color ka variation? See, so light skinned fair people, yeah. Albino animals are also unfavorable. Yes, my dears. Because see, they are more predominantly going to be affected by the UV radiations, and the melanism is going to be, affected, and all these things are going to be seen in albinos. So that is not going to be a good variation or an accepted variation, right? So the dark skinned people, there is an added advantage that their skin won't get tanned, they are not going to be prone for any mutations via the UV radiations and so on, because that melanin is going to be produced in large amount, and melanin is going to be, naturally, preventing the UV radiations from harming the DNA. So automatically, like that skin color becomes what? A very good example of variation with respect to being harmful for albinos or white skin people. करेक्ट, न्यूट्रल इन द सेंस चेंज हुआ है तो भी कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, चेंज नहीं हुआ है तो भी कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, राइट? गेट मी? So it doesn't matter with respect to your variation. For example, eye colors, some people have got black colored eyes, some have got brown, some have got blue, some have got green, right? Some have got gray, राइट? अलग अलग आई कलर होते हैं, बट वो आई कलर से कुछ बेनिफिट भी नहीं है, कुछ नुकसान भी नहीं है. So that's going to be an example of neutral variation. Okay, and useful variations में क्या आ सकता है? What do you think? What are the useful variations that have occurred? Loss of tail, for human beings. If human beings had tails, oh my god, अभी तो फिलहाल लॉकडाउन है, लोकल ट्रेन पूरी खाली है ना? नहीं तो टेल संभाल कर हर एक को अपनी अपनी लोकल ट्रेन्स में चढ़ना और उतरना, इमेजिन कर लो. इट वुड हैव बीन अ नाइटमेयर, राइट? It's so very difficult to get in and get out as one piece with taking care with of your your bags and umbrellas during the rainy season. An additional tail अगर रहता था हमें, तो एक दूसरे के टेल में अटक के ही हम लोग उधर के उधर ही ट्रेन में अटक जाते थे. आई वांट टू गेट डाउन एट अंधेरी विलेपार्ले, इम्पॉसिबल. क्यों? हमारी टेल्स फंसी हुई है. इमेजिन, right? So that variation was a useful type of a variation that occurred in us. Correct? So this is about the variation and heredity. Did you all understand this now? Correct? You are also in cats, you can see, look at the type of variations. And of course, they're going to have their own benefits with respect to the variations. Okay? Got it? Yeah, Prati, you are right. या rudimentary tails are there. Even rudimentary tail वाले बंदे होते हैं, but उनकी tail है ना, लंबी चौड़ी नहीं बनती है. It's going to grow up to a certain limit only, and that is going to be again variation होने के बाद और एक variation. Yeah, quadrupedal to bipedal. Very good, Sneha. Very good, Sneha. Yes, yes. Quadrupedal to bipedal. That's also very useful variation, right? So there are many useful variations that have occurred with all of us. All of us. Okay. Okay. Then survival of the fittest, or as we call them as natural selection. Organism has undergone gradual evolution due to variation of characteristics which enable some to survive better in natural conditions that would outbreed others that are less endowed to survive better in natural conditions. So some have the capacity to withstand any type of change, and some are unable to withstand those changes, right? Correct? Yes, yes, Raj, you are right. Yes, you are right. Yeah. So, what do you mean by this particular sentence, beta? They have undergone gradual evolution due to variation of characteristics. Now, these variations, these changes have enabled some to survive better in natural conditions, while others, you know, are not in the capacity to withstand those conditions and they get killed. Right? It was referred as fitness of an individual or fitness of a population, which means reproductive fitness. You have to fit this particular word in your mind, reproductive fitness. So, what is reproductive fitness? What is it exactly? Fitness of an individual or fitness of an population, which is referred to as or which means reproductive fitness. What do you mean by this reproductive fitness? Fitness of an individual. So that person, that organism, that microbe, that plant should be fit enough to to carry out generations after generations as progenies. They should have the capacity to reproduce so that the species is going to be maintained. If that species cannot be maintained, if the reproductive fitness is gone, that species becomes extinct as seen in case of dinosaurs. Correct? They became extinct. Why? They couldn't reproduce. They couldn't go ahead with development of the new progeny. There was no reproductive fitness, right? So the reproductive fitness is going to be your fitness of an individual or a population. Okay? Those who are better fit in an environment, they leave more progeny than others, which will survive more and hence are selected by nature. That is what the argument is all about. They are saying reproductive fitness jiska acha hai, they will have more number of progenies. So if they are capable of producing, more number of progenies, then out of so and so many, at least these many will survive, which will carry out the next generation. Okay, correct? Yes. Yeah. What is it, beta? An article regarding the red bug and green bug, which is exactly. Yes, Anuj, perfectly right. So we are coming to that only. Okay. So here also, what is the hypothesis that is being put forward? For example, just now we saw what, that 114 million eggs are going to be laid by that oysters, right? So they are the fittest. Why? Why? Because they are leaving more progeny, out of which at least majority of them will survive, each one of which will further have the capacity to produce so many eggs and so on, right? So that is called as your natural selection. Huh. It is not just the survival of a particular organism, but the whole species. Yes, 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 yes. Therefore, they are saying as a population. Therefore, they are saying it as a population. He means Darwin. Huh? He called it natural selection and implied it as a mechanism of evolution. So, according to Darwin, the one who is fittest is in the capacity to survive. Okay, and the nature selects it according to its capacity to withstand the adversity. Clear about it? Any difficulty, my dears? Any doubts? Anyone who has not understood any of the points, please let me know. Hmm. Yeah. Majority of the oysters are going to be eaten away. That is the reason that they are producing so many eggs. Okay, so definitely not all are going to uh, reach the maturity. बट अगर उन्होंने 100 ही एक एक फॉर एग्जांपल एक ऑयस्टर ले लो जो रिप्रोडक्टिव फिटनेस नहीं दिखा रहा है, तो वो क्या कर सकेगा बेटा? वो इंस्टेड ऑफ 114 मिलियन, अगर उसने सिर्फ 1000 एग्स डालने की कैपेसिटी रखी, तो व्हाट विल बी द आउटकम ऑफ इट? लेस नंबर ऑफ less number of offspring, so less chances of survival with respect to the numbers, राइट? जब 114 मिलियन डालते थे, तो तो क्या होता था बेटा? तो जाके कोई 100 सरवाइव कर लेते थे। अभी 1000 डाले हैं तो सर्वाइवल के चांसेस कितने नेग्लिजिबल हो गए देखो, राइट? या व्हाट्स योर डाउट बेटा? हाँ, last point. Okay, he called it as natural selection and implied it as a mechanism of evolution. What is the mechanism of evolution? How the evolution is taking place? Because of the ones who are fittest, because of the ones who are showing variations, because of the ones who are having the capacity to produce more offsprings, like that. That is the way of evolution, you can say. ठीक है? सही है? कोई है बेटा और कोई डाउट है? Anyone having any doubt still further? Go ahead. Okay. Well, then we come to one more important name in this study of evolution, that is Alfred Wallace. Alfred Wallace, again, he was a naturalist who worked in Malay archipelagos, who had also come to similar conclusions as that of Darwin had. So, Wallace and Darwin had concluded many things which were matching with their ideologies. Okay? All the existing life forms share similarities and share common ancestors, was Wallace's hypothesis. However, these ancestors were present at different periods in the history of the earth, or we call it as epochs, periods, and eras. What are epochs? What are periods? And what are eras will be soon dealt with in detail. They both also concluded that Earth is very old, not thousands of years as was thought, but it is earlier than that, that is around billions of years old. So these few things were, common between Wallace and Darwin. So he is also a naturalist, and even Darwin was a naturalist, right? So we cannot forget Alfred Wallace also in contributing his ideologies for evolution. ठीक है? तो ये भाई साहब का नाम याद रखिएगा प्लीज. Then the fifth one is origin of new species. as a result of struggle for existence, variability, and inheritance, the organisms tend to become better adapted to their environment. See, there is a tendency of every species to get adapted to a particular condition. Like हम कहते हैं ना, in case of corona हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं बेटा, herd immunity आ गई है. सुना है आपने ये word herd immunity? What do you mean by that? We got adapted to that particular virus eventually, and वही होने वाला है आगे जाके वही होने वाला है. Okay, in the year 1919, दिस इज 2019 के बाद, मतलब पहले 100 साल पहले 1919 में बेटा ऐसे ही एपिडेमिक आया था, स्पैनिश फ्लू नाम था उसका, है ना. तो वो 1919 में भी पीपल वर डाइंग लाइक फ्लाइज एज नाउ पीपल आर डाइंग. एंड इवेंचुअली व्हाट हैपेंड, दोज who survived got adapted to that particular virus. That means they became immune to that particular virus. So that was what, they were the ones who were acting as a new species. The old species were the ones who were never exposed to this virus. And those who got killed, they were eliminated of the old species. And those who survived were the new species which developed. Okay, got it? So that is what is about the origin of new species. Huh. Adaptation of an organism depends on its fitness. Yes, my dear, very correct, Samiksha. So that purely depends on the fitness. Purely depends. इसीलिए हम लोग अभी क्या कर रहे हैं? What are we doing as of now? Increasing our immunities. है या नहीं? We are popping up all the different types of medicines that XYZ person tells you. That person will not be an MBBS doctor also. बस बोला ना ये खाओ, ये खाने से इम्यूनिटी बढ़ती है, तो भाई आँख ढक के खा लो बस. कोई क्या निकाल के लेके आता है, कोई क्या निकाल के लेके आता है, रोज रोज नया नया सुनने को मिलता है. रोज रोज पेशेंट्स पूछते रहते हैं ये खाने से ऐसा होता है क्या, वो खाने से वैसा होता है क्या. भाई जो प्रिस्क्राइब्ड मेडिसिन है वो लेने में कोई हर्ज नहीं है. ये कोई भी आके कुछ भी आके बोल के जाएगा, कर लो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. हाँ, नेचुरल फूड तुम्हें खाना है तो इट इज एनी टाइम बेटर. Naturally, whatever you can increase your immunity is 100 times better, no doubt. But what are we doing as of now? We only know what we have to get adapted, we have to get fit. And for becoming fit, what is required as of now? Immunity improvement. So do whatever we can do for immunity improvement. You might have seen so many videos also nowadays, they come that what are the different exercises to improve your lung capacities. योगा आते हैं, ये योगा करेंगे तो ऐसे ये हो जाता है, ये लंग कैपेसिटी बढ़ती है. ब्रीदिंग एक्सरसाइजेस आते हैं, है ना. यस, या देयर इज नो प्रॉपर ट्रीटमेंट फॉर कोविड. एक्चुअली डॉक्टर्स आर गिविंग ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ निमोनिया. अरे बेटा, अभी तक इट इज, अभी अभी तो आया है. जो आया है उसके बारे में रिसर्च करने के लिए टाइम तो चाहिए, और रिसर्च होने के बाद उसके ऊपर देयर कैन बी समथिंग दैट वी कैन टॉक ऑन. Right? So what generally the doctors do, they give immunity boosters. So as your immunity improves, automatically your immune system is only going to take care of all these infections, right? So the one thing in our hand is, yes, improve our immunity, definitely. So how you can improve your immunity is in your hands. But uh, this is, like they say that those who have experienced and overcome the second wave of corona, they are more like adapted and more suited or more fit, is what has been argued. But there are so many deaths that are going on, right? There are so many deaths. Like last few months, even like my uh, friends and unke relatives, and even in my distant relations and all, not very close ones, I've heard about so many deaths because of COVID. So many. So second wave was, like it is still more, uh, what we say, बहुत ज़्यादा परेशान करने वाली है, is what we have seen. So this is again, one of the best examples that those who can overcome that and survive, they belong to that new species. Okay, got it. It will better. That will also contribute to the natural selection. It will, because whatever changes are going to occur, they are going to occur genetically. Okay. Well, nature selects organisms with favorable variations and allows them to survive. The favorable characters are transmitted to the next generation. In the next generation also natural selection operates. So at every generation, at every stage, natural selection is going to be operated. ये एक बार हो गया मतलब लाइफ लॉन्ग हुआ ऐसा नहीं है. Every generation में वो सिलेक्शन होता जाता है by the nature. These different forms of organisms are identified as new species. See, for example, I don't know, you might have heard about this or experienced this or I don't know, whatever. But when I was, very small, around say 4, 5, 6 years old, तब की बात है. So I had a friend, uh, and that friend of mine, he was never ever exposed to any type of stress. मतलब क्या पता है कि उसको घर पे ही रखा जाता था. That boy was not allowed to come out and play in the mud. That boy was not allowed to, eat any junk food like, भी छोटे बच्चे जंक फूड क्या खाते हैं? चिप्स खाते हैं, वेफर्स खाते हैं, चिप्स खाते हैं, चॉकलेट्स खाते हैं, आइसक्रीम खाते हैं, है ना? 5-6 साल के जब तुम लोग थे, तो तुम्हारी जिद किसके लिए होती थी? यू गोइंग एनीवेयर आउटसाइड, मम्मी का हाथ पकड़-पकड़ के परेशान नहीं करते थे क्या कभी? आई वांट दिस चॉकलेट, आई वांट दीस चिप्स. करेक्ट. ये वाला स्ट्रेस. स्ट्रेस मतलब अपना मेंटल स्ट्रेस छोटे बच्चों में क्या ही होता है, राइट? बट ही वाज नॉट अलाउड टू ईट एनीथिंग आउटसाइड. किसी भी कोई घर के अलावा कोई भी बाहर की चीज उसको खाने से रोक के रखा था उसके पेरेंट्स ने. राइट फ्रॉम दी बर्थ उसको ऐसा कुछ भी मतलब है ना, बाहर का चीज खाने को अलाउड नहीं किया था. या फिर बाहर आके खेलने के लिए मड उसमें, कैसे हम लोग मड में खेलते हैं कि नहीं? हम तो मस्त, मतलब बचपन में हम सब लोग खेले हुए हैं. अभी भी तुम लोग खेलते होंगे क्रिकेट, बैडमिंटन, साइक्लिंग करते होंगे, है ना? सो वी ऑल आर एक्सपोज टू ऑल डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ पोल्यूटेंट्स. करेक्ट. एग्जैक्टली. सो व्हाट हैपेंड, या दैट वाज द एक्चुअली द लाइफ वाज दैट, बहुत मजा आता था वो टाइम पे. But he had never been exposed to all these things. He was secluded, he was kept secluded, he was kept in like strict captivity कि नहीं ये नहीं करने का, बाहर नहीं जाने का. He used to watch us play. Even he used to feel that he has to come out. Then when he became around 7-8 years old, थोड़ी ना वो पेरेंट्स की सुनने वाला है. 5-6 साल तक चलो ठीक है, उसको बांध के रखा था घर पे तो कुछ कर नहीं सकता था वो. But when that boy became around 7-8 years old, now he was not like ready to listen to his parents. And वो फिर है ना थोड़ा थोड़ा बाहर आने लगा. एंड हम लोग कैसे, हम लोग रोज ही खेलते थे. तो फर्स्ट फ्यू डेज में ही गॉट सो इल, इतना वो बीमार हो गया कि ही हैड टू बी हॉस्पिटलाइज्ड एंड ऑल. वो कहीं भी किसी के भी घर पे कुछ पार्टी है, बर्थडे पार्टीज में हम फ्रेंड्स को तो बुलाते ही थे बचपन में. तो वेन एवर यूज टू कम टू एनी बर्थडे पार्टीज एंड ऑल, एंड बाय मिस्टेक भी उसने वो, हम जब छोटे थे ना, तो ये क्या मिरिंडा विरिंडा नहीं मिलता था. तो हमारे टाइम पे है ना रसना एंड गोल्ड स्पॉट, थम्स अप ये मिलता था. तो कभी कभार ऐसा कुछ पार्टी है तो इतना इतना मम्मा देती थी हमें. तो इतना सा पीने पर भी है ना, he used to be like sick, hospitalized. Now why he was not in the capacity to take up all these things, whereas we all, हमारी पूरी gang थी, we were around 18-20 of our friends together and we never had this problem. Never ever. हम लोग कहीं पर भी जाते थे, कैसे भी खेलते थे, रात दिन खेलते ही रहते थे. बिकॉज हमारे टाइम पे ये टीवी, लैपटॉप, मोबाइल कुछ टाइम पास नहीं था. एक ही टाइम पास था, नीचे जाके खेलो. यूज टू प्ले द होल डे. स्कूल में से आए नहीं कि हम लोग खेलने के लिए गए, होमवर्क पूरा नहीं हुआ हम लोग खेलने के लिए गए. ये बच्चा थोड़ा भी बाहर आता था ना, एंड स्पेशली विंटर्स और हाई समर्स, बीमार हो जाता था. So what was the reason for this? Can anyone tell me? Why his immunity was low, beta? Why his immunity was low? You're right, Tanvi, your answer is perfectly right that his immunity was low. But why do you think his immunity was low? Yes, very good. Very good, Devang. Yes, yes, yes. You all are correct, my dears. Correct, Vyom, Parnavi. Yes, Prachi. Very good. So he had no exposure to any of these things, na. So how will he naturally build up the immunity for these? करेक्ट वेरी गुड अश्विन वेरी गुड बेटा परफेक्ट बिल्कुल सही आंसर है हाँ कैपेसिटी उसने डेवलप ही नहीं करी ना बच्चा वेरी नाइस अंजलि राइट सो what is the meaning of this unless and until you are not exposed to certain things your body won't have the capacity to produce anything called as immunity against it right ना correct ना so same thing is happening with us कि कभी ना कभी कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ा बहुत इन्फेक्शन हमें सबको होके गया है कोरोना का जाने या अनजाने फर्स्ट वेव में या सेकेंड वेव में थोड़ा बहुत तो होके गया है क्यों क्योंकि हम लोग बाहर जाते हैं है ना हम लोग इंटरेक्ट करते हैं सोसाइटी में इधर उधर घूमते हैं ग्राउंड में कभी ना कभी बाहर खेलने के लिए जाते हैं मार्केटिंग के लिए कभी ना कभी तो गए होगे ये 2 साल में तुम लोग तो कहीं ना कहीं कभी ना कभी वी गॉट एक्सपोज तो ऐसे धीरे धीरे हम लोग जब एक्सपोज होते गए ना आवर बॉडी नेचुरली स्टार्टेड मेकिंग एंटीबॉडीज अगेंस्ट द वायरस एंड दैट इज व्हाट वी कॉल एज हर्ड इम्यूनिटी आ गई बट इन स्पाइट ऑफ दैट अगर किसी को ज्यादा अमाउंट में ये आ गया एक्सपोजर आ गया एंटीजेंस का right then of course that person has to have the capacity to overpower the antigens and produce antibodies those who could survive those who could make those who could overcome this antigens and produce good amount of antibodies they are evolved as what new species okay so new species मतलब कुछ alien बनते हैं ऐसी बात नहीं है बेटा new species का मतलब समझ में आ गया आप लोग को to overcome a particular calamity or to overcome a particular situation and sustain and survive. Those particular organisms would be called as new species. Okay. So thus, according to Darwin, a new species originates by the gradual accumulation of favorable variations for a number of generations. So maybe after 1 or 2 generations, जैसे कि मैंने अभी अभी आपको बताया Spanish flu in 1990. That was the time when my great grandmother also was affected. My great grandmother also had experienced this Spanish flu का epidemic में वो भी थी, but she overcome that. Okay, so उसके बाद now I am the second, fourth generation. My great grandmother, so I'm the fourth generation now, right? So what has happened now? That particular capacity to overcome the Spanish flu has automatically come into all of us because we are the fourth or you would be the fifth generation by now, right? So that is what is said that the new generations or the new variations will be accumulated over generations and that will be the new species or the next generations would be more better adapted or suited to the prevailing conditions. Understood this? Understood beta? Got it? Clear hai? Clear hai? Fine. Yeah. So see, beta, during I remember, like my dadi used to tell me that when I was born, na, that time I couldn't survive or sustain without a fan. फैन नहीं चल रहा है ना तो मैं इतना रोती थी इतना मतलब जस्ट न्यूबॉर्न बेबीज वो टाइम की बात ओके जस्ट न्यूबॉर्न बेबी एंड फैन नहीं फैन 2 मिनट के लिए भी बंद किया ना तो आई हैव टू स्टार्ट क्राइंग तो मैं दादी यूज्ड टू टेल मी कि तुझे 1 मिनट के लिए भी फैन नहीं रहता था ना तो तू परेशान कर देती थी इतनी छोटी सी थी यू आर नॉट इवन अ मंथ ओल्ड और तुम्हारे फैन के बगैर तुम्हें नहीं चलता था हमारे टाइम पे तो पता है कैसे होता था शी यूज्ड टू टेल अ स्टोरी so she used to say that when she was born at that particular time they were not allowed to come out of the dark room also their parents उसकी मम्मी को मेरे दादी के मम्मी को वो बच्ची को लेकर धूप में भी आने से मनाई थी for almost 15 days or 30 days, almost a month, 1 month भी नहीं, 45 days, सवा महीना, है ना, around 45 days ना, या 40 days ना, the child should not be exposed even to the light. वो एक डार्क रूम में मेरी दादी कह रही थी हमें उधर रखा जाता था for 40 days. उसके बाद जाके हमारी आंखें अडेप्ट होती थी सनरेज के लिए. द सेम थिंग कम्स विथ माई मम्मा एंड ऑल. मेरी मम्मा डैडी का जब मतलब बर्थ हुआ ना, तो दैट टाइम उनके टाइम पे कैसा था कि वो डार्क रूम में कुछ नहीं होता था. दे वर लाइक एक्सपोज टू सनलाइट एज एंड व्हेन दे वर बोर्न, बट देयर वाज नॉट नो फैन और समथिंग लाइक दैट वे. So they used to, like they were okay with the natural breeze, ऐसा कुछ, they were not fastidious. हमारे ज़माने में फैन आ गया था, तो we all, your parents का जो generation है अभी, right? We were like, used to that fan वाला culture. फैन नहीं है तो नहीं जमेगा. From our beginning. And now तुम्हारा ज़माना कैसा है? एसी के बगैर नहीं जमेगा, है ना? Without एसी, बच्चा पैदा होते ही उसको एसी के इधर ही रखा जाता है. Yeah, you all are exposed to AC since you were born, right? So for you all, AC से कुछ तकलीफ नहीं होती है, राइट ना? अगर अगर हम लोग ज्यादा टाइम एसी के नीचे भी आज भी बैठेंगे ना, तो मेरा सर दर्द होने लगता है. आई टेल माई सन एसी बंद कर दो बाबा, बहुत हो गया, इनफ. ही इज लाइक क्या फर्क पड़ता है मम्मा, इट्स सो हॉट आउटसाइड. You all are already exposed. So what are you all? Generation after generation, the conditions or the variations are being accumulated, and so you are better adapted, better suited to a particular condition. Got it? So every time a new generation बनता है, तो previous generations के सारे variations जो useful है will be passed on, is what Darwin is saying. Okay? Yeah. I know. So yes. Sometimes, like it becomes like an individual. On an individual scale also, the things are going to vary, but on and on as a population and as a generation, when we say, these things are going to be, talked about. So I understood about this, na beta? Got it? Okay. So we saw the 5 categories that we wanted to discuss about the natural selection. Okay. Okay. So what is the summary of Darwin's theory? The theory of Darwin as summarized by Wallace is as follows. First, facts observed in nature and what are the deductions out of it. Overproduction, prodigality of production, or number of survivors remain constant. What are the deductions of that? Let's struggle for existence. इतने सारे ओवर प्रोडक्शन करा दिए एक्स के, लेकिन कुछ ही सर्वाइव कर पाए. क्यों? व्हाट इज द डिडक्शन ऑफ इट? व्हाट इज द रीजन? व्हाट यू कैन कंक्लूड आउट ऑफ इट? इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ स्ट्रगल फॉर एग्जिस्टेंस. करेक्ट? Struggle for existence and variations and heredity is because of what? Survival of the fittest और natural selection. जो स्ट्रगल किया उसमें से जो बच गया वो कौन है? फिटेस्ट है. सो जो फिटेस्ट है उसका सर्वाइवल हो गया स्ट्रगल के बाद. जो अनफिट था वो एलिमिनेट हो गया. करेक्ट? वेरिएशंस में जो यूजफुल वेरिएशंस थे कंटिन्यूड, जो अनफेवरेबल वेरिएशंस थे डिसकंटिन्यूड. Who did this? Natural selection, right? Survival of the fittest and environmental changes जो नेचर में दिखाई देते हैं, इनको जो ओवरकम कर लिया, उनमें से जो फिट जो सरवाइव किया है, जो एलिमिनेट हो चुका है, वो तो स्ट्रगल करके हार मान के बेचारा चला गया. जो बच गया है, he got, that organism got used to, immune, right? Because of this, what happened? Origin of new species. ठीक है? Got it? Fine. हाँ, what's your doubt बेटा? कौन सा है? हाँ, तो 1114 million eggs lay किए हैं, but generally out of that only 100 survive. So every time it's going to be constant survival. कभी भी वो उससे ज्यादा या उससे बहुत कम नहीं होता है unless and until कुछ drastic environmental calamities आ जाती है. Fine. Okay. Any doubts in this summary of Darwin's theory? So this is Darwin and this is Wallace. You don't have to forget these names. These both names are very important in evolution. Got it? Okay. Now, what are the objections to Darwin's theory of natural selection? Darwin's theory explains the survival of the fittest, but not the arrival of the fittest. Okay? Survival दिखा रहा है वो, arrival कहाँ से arrive हुआ, कब arrive हुआ, कैसे arrive हुआ. There is no proof for it. He was not clearly aware of hereditary principles. He could only see variations, but how is it a hereditary character? How is it passed on from generation to generation? He had no idea about it, right? The theory has no satisfactory explanation for the cause, origin, and inheritance of variations. He never had the scientific proof for all these things. It does not give any idea about inheritance of useless variations like vestigial organs. Right. So we have got vestigial organs, and these vestigial organs, why are they present? Why are they not getting eliminated? Why are they passed on from generation to generation? Nothing is being, uh, given as a scientific proof of it. So that is the reason that Darwin's theory of natural selection also has some flaws, some objections. Fine, got it. All they ask you this for your board marks for 2 marks. बोर्ड्स के एग्जाम में ये 2 मार्क का क्वेश्चन आता है that Darwin's theory of natural selection was not completely accepted, justified. So you have to give these 1, 2, 3, 4 points for 2 marks. Generally आपके boards में ना बेटा every point will have half mark. So accordingly you have to manage with the number of points and the marks. Yeah, I'm going to talk about Lamarck also. It's going to come, my dear. You're right. See. So now there was something called as Lamarckism. जैसा डार्विनिज्म था वैसे ये लमार्किज्म है. इसका मतलब even that is going to be the name of some of the scientists, right? So even before Darwin, a French naturalist Lamarck had said that evolution of life forms had occurred but driven by use and disuse of organs, commonly called as Lamarckism. Okay, so before Darwin could give any of his propositions, Lamarck had already given certain, uh, norms of evolution. And what is he saying? That evolution of life forms had occurred, but driven by use and disuse of organs. So here he was talking about what? Vestigial organs. Okay. So some sort of, who said, yes, yeah, you were right, beta. So Lamarckism is going to be having something associated with the vestigial organs as well. He has explained his phenomena using the giraffe as an example. You can see the neck of the giraffe का photograph वहाँ पर है. Organs that are more used develop more, while those that are not used become vestigial in the long run, is what Lamarck is saying. So जो generally use होने वाला है, जो generally use होने वाले organs है, वो जो functional है, as we say, है ना, जो functional है, वो जो है वो उनमें कुछ ना कुछ पॉजिटिव ये होता जाएगा, इम्प्रूवमेंट होता जाएगा. एंड द वंस व्हिच आर नॉट गोइंग टू बी यूज्ड वो धीरे धीरे डीजेनरेट होता जाएगा, इज व्हाट Lamarck is saying. The character or adaptation developed by an organism during its lifetime is passed on to its progeny. So he's saying that this particular developmental factor is passed on from one generation to the next generation. He gave the long neck of giraffe as an example. According to him, it is an outcome of the attempt to stretch their neck continuously to eat leaves from the tall trees. So giraffe, initially it was grazing. So according to Lamarck, उसके भी ऑब्जेक्शंस है जो हम लोग देखने वाले हैं, बट एज ऑफ नाउ तो व्हाट इज द सी ऑफ लमार्क कि पहले जिराफ जो थे ना वो नीचे ग्रेजिंग करते थे, ग्रास एंड ऑल खाते थे, तो दे ऑल एट अप द ग्रास एंड नाउ दे हैड टू लुक अप फॉर देयर फूड। सो छोटे हर्ब्स, श्रब्स, स्मॉल ट्रीज, उनके लीव्स खाते थे, वो भी सारे खत्म हो गए। देन दे हैड टू रीच द अपर एरियाज ऑफ द ट्री, so they had to stretch their neck so much that eventually their necks became longer than normal. इवन वो भी पूरा खत्म हो गया, तो और ऊपर का जो लीव्स था उधर तक उनको पहुंचना था, इसलिए वो और लंबी होती गई उनकी नेक, ऐसा लमार्क का कहना है, राइट। As they passed on this acquired character of long neck to succeeding generations, giraffes came to acquire long neck over long period of time. Is what Lamarck is saying. Okay? Yeah. The first giraffe वो ऐसा attempt करेगा. Not genetically given. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right, beta. But that's what I said. There are objections to Lamarckism, but this is what Lamarck is trying to tell us. You can see even in the photograph that how the neck is being stretched and increased according to Lamarck. Again, I'm saying according to Lamarck. But it was, of course, not accepted because we know that all of a sudden, पूरे पूरे दुनिया में जितने भी जिराफ है उधर का ऑल ऑफ अ सडन वेजिटेशन कैसे खत्म हो जाएगा, बराबर। अच्छा, ऑल ऑफ अ सडन सबके नेक की हाइट इतनी ही कैसे लंबी हो जाएगी, सो दैट वाज नॉट गोइंग टू बी एक्सेप्टेड। बट यस, लमार्क का जो ये कहना था, इट वाज अबाउट द वेस्टिजियल ऑर्गन्स एंड द ऑर्गन्स व्हिच आर यूज्ड मैक्सिमली। इसलिए पता है आपको कहा जाता है ऐसे ही, लाइक इन अ स्लैंग वे कहा जाता है ये, कि दिमाग का यूज नहीं करोगे तो सड़ जाएगा। सुना है ये? यूज योर ब्रेन अदरवाइज इट्स गोइंग टू गेट कंप्लीटली, कुछ काम का नहीं रहेगा, है ना। even like people are there are many psychologists and all who believe in people solving some type of puzzle या कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा गेम खेल मतलब खेलना है जिससे है ना वो मेंटल एबिलिटीज बढ़ती जाती है। बचपन में आप लोग ने ये किया होगा, खेला होगा, है ना। मेंटल एबिलिटी के बहुत सारे गेम्स मार्केट में अवेलेबल है। मेमोरी गेम करके कुछ होता है, यू नो दैट। यस, आई नो, पेरेंट्स की आदत होती है वो। या इवन योर रूबिक्स क्यूब और दैट सुडोकू, क्रॉसवर्ड्स, सो दैट एनहांसेस योर यू नो ब्रेन को बहुत ज्यादा हम लोग एक्टिवेट करेंगे। तो आई होप यू ऑल आर एक्टिवेटिंग योर ब्रेन्स बाय रीडिंग एंड लर्निंग योर सिलेबस। हाँ, दे रहे हो कि नहीं एक्टिविटी अपने ब्रेन को पढ़ने की? देते रहो बेटा, जितना ज्यादा दोगे ना उतना वो एक्टिवेटेड रहेगा। जितना एक्टिवेटेड रहेगा ना उतना आपके एग्जाम टाइम पे ना बहुत बेनिफिट होगा। हाँ, डेली डोज चाहिए। यस, या that's fine. Okay. See, my dears, just now someone is saying that right now we are studying from NCRT, so can we study state board books later? So this will be very useful as a tip from my side. If you can follow this, it will be very beneficial for your overall progress. Believe me, this is a tested and proven formula for doing very good in your boards also and in your NEET also or MHCET also and whatever exams you want to give. It's a tested and proven formula. Okay. What I'm going to do, since you are now officially promoted in 12th standard, 11th standard तक हमें board book का इतना tension था नहीं बेटा। नहीं, not to refer it simultaneously. I'll tell you. This is for all of you all, okay? Till 11th standard, your textbooks of 11th standard boards was like they are not going to be asked in your examination, so it was okay. But now, since you have been, officially you have entered into your 12th standard, how I'm going to study both the things simultaneously, I'll tell about that. Okay, you have got 6 days wherein you have to put in efforts. and the 7th day of the week you have to test yourself. Okay, so how to go about it? So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, MWF as we say. Okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Study. I'm talking from bio point of view, of course, as of now. Study either botany or zoology. Don't do both the chapters together. थोड़ा टाइम बॉटनी करोगे, थोड़ा टाइम जोलॉजी करोगे, कुछ काम का नहीं है. सो MWF स्टडी से बॉटनी, देन TTS ट्यूसडे, थर्सडे, सैटरडे स्टडी जोलॉजी और वाइस वर्सा, व्हाटएवर यू वांट. तो बायो रोज पढ़ना है, लेकिन बॉटनी और जोलॉजी एक ही दिन नहीं पढ़ना है. एक दिन बॉटनी पढ़ना है, एक दिन जोलॉजी पढ़ना है. समझ में आ गई बात आपको? राइट. अब मंडे, वेडनेसडे, फ्राइडे में अगर तुम बॉटनी पढ़ने वाले हो, तो मंडे स्टडी दैट पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर फ्रॉम NCERT. Okay, for example, you are studying human reproduction, for example, it's your 12th standard syllabus, right? Or sexual reproduction in flowering plants, which we have completed now. So if you're going to study sexual reproduction in flowering plants from NCERT on Monday, the same chapter you will learn, which was that sexual reproduction in flowering plants, the same chapter you will learn from government textbook on Wednesday. ठीक है, तो मंडे को आपने वो चैप्टर NCERT में से पढ़ा, वेंसडे को आप वो चैप्टर गवर्नमेंट टेक्स्ट बुक से पढ़ोगे. ठीक है, फ्राइडे को वही चैप्टर आपके नोट्स में से पढ़ोगे. जो आपको मॉड्यूल्स, आपको जो नोट्स दिए गए हैं उसमें से आप फ्राइडे को पढ़ोगे. समझ रही है मेरी बात? सो मंडे, वेडनेसडे एंड फ्राइडे you are only going to study one chapter of botany, but from 3 different books. So in that same week, in that one entire week, you will be thoroughly preparing one chapter of your botany. Similarly, if you want to study human reproduction with respect to zoological chapter, so Tuesday ko you will read the NCERT for the human reproduction chapter. Thursday you will read the same chapter from your government textbook, and Saturday you will read the same chapter from your notes. So एक वीक में आपने 2 चैप्टर्स कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स के हिसाब से भी पढ़ लिए और बोर्ड के हिसाब से भी पढ़ लिए बेटा. So you are preparing simultaneously for your boards also and for your this also competitive exams also. And in a week your आराम से तुम लोग 2 चैप्टर्स प्रिपेयर कर सकते हो. आराम से 2 चैप्टर्स प्रिपेयर कर सकते हो. समझ में आ रही है मेरी बात आपको? Are you all getting me what I'm trying to tell you? So what will happen now? What will happen now? Your burden of later on managing the state board and your whatever board exams are concerned, कुछ रहेगा ही नहीं, और वो चैप्टर पूरी तरह से प्रिपेयर हो जाएगा. करेक्ट? अंडरस्टूड? अब संडे के दिन यू विल नॉट स्टडी एनीथिंग. छुट्टी, वैसे छुट्टी, लेकिन ये पूरे वीक में आपने 2 चैप्टर्स जो पढ़े हुए हैं फ्रॉम ऑल द 3 डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ बुक्स, you will be appearing for your MCQs. So any of these 6 days you won't attempt any of the MCQs. You will only read and learn, read and learn. And on a Sunday you will be attempting MCQs for these 2 chapters from whatever books you have got or whatever test we had conducted or whatever you want. Fine? Got it? So in this way what will happen? आपने पढ़ा भी और आपने सॉल्व भी करा. ठीक है ना? समझ में आ रही है मेरी बात जो मैं कहना चाहती हूँ? और उसी संडे को आप गवर्नमेंट टेक्स्ट बुक के पीछे के जो क्वेश्चंस हैं उसके आंसर्स लिख के रेडी रखोगे. फाइन? सो यू डोंट हैव टू देन सर्च कि मैं आंसर्स कहाँ से ढूंढूं, कहाँ मिलेगा, क्या करूंगा, कुछ नहीं. सब कुछ रेडी है आपके पास. ओके, अब एक चैप्टर रीड करके उसको लर्न करने के लिए आपको कितना टाइम लगेगा वो आपको अकॉर्डिंगली स्लॉट्स निकालने हैं. आप जैसे कि सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन फ्लावरिंग प्लांट्स लंबा चैप्टर है, ह्यूमन रिप्रोडक्शन लंबा चैप्टर है, बट कौन सा अपना रिप्रोडक्टिव हेल्थ कितना छोटा है, राइट? तो जिस दिन छोटा चैप्टर आपको पढ़ना है ना बेटा, उस दिन आप बैकलॉग क्लियर कर सकते हो। आपके जो 11th स्टैंडर्ड के चैप्टर्स हो चुके हैं और वो आपको रिविजन करने के बाकी है ना, उसका आप बैकलॉग ले सकते हो। So Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, if you are going to, give that time for reproductive health chapter to be done, वो आपका 1 घंटे में ही हो जाएगा। तो बाकी के जो आपको ये आपके 1.5 hours, 2 hours जो भी है ना, that you can utilize for your backlog. Is it okay? Have you all understood? Have a very perfect timetable for this. Fine. According to me, you are not supposed to learn any particular subject for more than 2 hours. 2 घंटे के बाद सैचुरेशन आ जाता है, क्या पढ़ रहे हो कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है, you're just doing it for the sake of doing. It's of no use. So one more suggestion from my end, if you're going to study botany on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, along with that you can study chemistry as a second subject along with botany for these 3 days. Similarly, zoology जब तुम पढ़ने वाले हो, वो 3 दिन तुम लोग फिजिक्स के लिए ले लो for learning. But by default, every day, all of you all are going to solve whatever number of MCQs or whatever number of numericals sir tells you. Sir might have told you na that you have to every day solve these many numericals. वो आपको रोज करना है बेटा, रोज। उसके लिए आप लेकिन वो कब करोगे पता है? रात के टाइम पे, सोने से पहले। जब हम कुछ एब्जॉर्ब नहीं कर पाते हैं ना, अपना दिमाग इतना सैचुरेट हो चुका है पढ़ के कि नाउ आई एम नॉट इन द कैपेसिटी टू लर्न एनीथिंग। सो व्हेन यू आर नॉट इन द कैपेसिटी टू लर्न एनीथिंग, सॉल्व समथिंग। Okay, so that is the way you have to divide your slots, and minimum you have to start studying for 6 hours apart from apart from your classes or college or whatever. Okay, you can choose your own chapters. I'm not saying which chapters have to be there. You choose your own chapters. That liberty you take. But you have to have 2 chapters done in a week. एक चैप्टर बॉटनी का, एक चैप्टर जोलॉजी का कंपल्सरी करना है, मतलब करना है। ठीक है, गॉट इट? हाँ, तो वही तो अभी वही मैंने बोला कि आपको कैसे टाइम मैनेजमेंट करनी है, दैट यू सी, दैट आई डोंट नो हाउ योर टाइम टेबल्स आर बीइंग सेट, but as far as bio is concerned and my lectures are concerned, I always take only 2 lectures for you all, and that to fixed timing, morning 8 to 10 twice in a week. Okay, so what will happen na beta, once you have got this timetable done, now you all start making this timetable for yourselves. Okay, and follow this pattern, and if you follow this pattern now of studying, I bet you all will be doing very good in your boards also and in your competitive exams also, and you have got ample of time in hand to do it. आपके पास बहुत अच्छा टाइम है, लेकिन टाइम है का मतलब ये आप वेस्ट नहीं कर सकते हो बेटा, आप वेस्ट नहीं कर सकते। अभी मई तो चला गया, राइट? जून, जुलाई, अगस्त, सितंबर, अक्टूबर, नवंबर, दिसंबर। आई डोंट कंसिडर बियॉन्ड जनवरी, बिकॉज जनवरी से ना आपके प्रीलिम स्टार्ट हो जाएंगे। क्या वो जर्नल सबमिशंस, प्रोजेक्ट्स, ये वही और सब कुछ चालू हो जाता है। सो आई टेक ओनली 7 months, so 7 4 are 28 weeks. You have got 28 weeks in your hand. हाँ यार, नहीं 7 4 कितना, हाँ करेक्ट, 28 weeks. तो 28 weeks में आपको बायो के 38 चैप्टर्स करने हैं। सी थिंक लॉजिकल, आई एम नॉट स्कैरिंग यू, मैं आपको डरा नहीं रही हूँ बच्चा, मैं आपको फैक्ट शीट बता रही हूँ। So in the coming 7 months, you have to have all 38 chapters done from your end, right? As far as my portion is concerned, I'll complete the syllabus of 12th standard in 3 chapters. I need to teach you all only 3 chapters more after this. So after 3 chapters, मेरा सिलेबस खत्म हो रहा है, तो ऑटोमेटिकली आप उसका ना पूरा रिविजन का प्लानिंग करा सकते हो। Fine, but you have to have that done within the next 28 weeks. Take it weeks. बिलीव मी, डोंट टेक इट एज 7 months. मंथ्स देखोगे तो लगता है हाँ बहुत टाइम है. एक एक वीक कैसे चला जा रहा है आपको समझ में भी आ रहा है क्या? कब सैटरडे संडे आके खड़ा हो जाता है समझता ही नहीं है, right? So take it as weeks, my dear. So you know, like only bio is 38 chapters. Accordingly, check for your physics and chemistry. So how to prepare everything in the given stipulated time, how you're going to manage it, that is your decision. But how to do the things, I have told you. ठीक है? ओके, सो थोड़ा उस हिसाब से आप फोकस करते करते जाओ बेटा, बिकॉज आपको वैसे देखा जाए तो 4 सब्जेक्ट पढ़ने हैं, फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, बॉटनी, जोलॉजी, है ना? तो अकॉर्डिंगली डिवाइड एंड यू कैन डेफिनेटली स्कोर वेरी गुड. ओके, या फाइन. सो from my end, I've given you this advice. Those who will follow this will definitely succeed in both the exams. Those who want to just take it and leave it, it's up to you. I can't come and force you all for all these things now. But it's a tested and proven formula of this particular thing. Okay. Well, so after Lamarckism, we come to mutational theory put forward by Hugo de Vries. So even he had done this earlier. So it was proposed by the person called as Hugo de Vries in the year 1901. He's a Dutch botanist. Experimental study was done on evening primrose, that is Oentheria lamarckiana, for 7 generations. Now, my dears, majority of the students will mark Oentheria lamarckiana as Lamarckism. They will consider this as an example of Lamarckism because Lamarckiana naam hai iska. It is associated with mutational theory put forward by Hugo de Vries. It's the evening primrose जो हमें generally कहीं पर भी ये flowers दिखाई देते हैं. The main features of this theory are new species originates as a result of large discontinuous variations that appear suddenly involving mutation, which is also called as saltation. So Hugo de Vries is saying it is not the accumulation of characters over generation that will be passed on, and then that particular character will be, developed and selected naturally. It is all of a sudden some mutation is occurring, and it is going to be not a gradual process but a spontaneous process. ऐसे यूगो de Vries का कहना है. Okay, जिसको saltation कहा जाता है, and they are saying it is going to be large, means the entire population of that particular section is going to be affected. Discontinuous है, it is not necessary it's going to be passed from one generation to next. Discontinuous है वो, एक आध कोई organism में दिखाई देता है, उसके next generation में it is not going to be passed on. Okay, and he is saying it is appearing suddenly, spontaneously, it is not a gradual change. This has been proposed by whom? Hugo de Vries. Okay, he is saying mutations provide the raw material for genetic evolution by new species originate. Okay, so by this particular method, new species originate. What Darwin was saying, what was new species? The one which can overcome the adverse condition and they are going to be selected naturally for the survival because they are fit. That was the origin of new species. But according to Hugo de Vries, what he is saying, mutations are going to provide the raw material for genetic evolution by which new species are going to originate. So he's saying that new species will originate only if the genetic material is going to be altered. If the genetic material is not going to be altered, that cannot be called as the new species, is what Hugo de Vries says. ठीक है? These are, or they are heritable changes and established new species. So only if the genetic makeup is going to show any alteration, only then it will be passed on to the new generation, and that will be called as what? Heritable changes. Okay. Next is saying mutations that are found unsuitable are likely to be destroyed by natural selection. So he's okay with the phenomena of natural selection, but he's against with the phenomena of gradual change. Okay. What are the objections? See, so these were the points put forward by mutational theory. Objections. The mutations were chromosomal aberrations and not gene mutation that he observed in this primrose. They were not gene getting altered. It was chromosomal aberrations, means the entire chromosome is going to get altered and not a single gene. Okay. So कैसे बताऊं आपको, जैसे कि हाँ, डेयरी मिल्क का चॉकलेट आपको पता है, डेयरी मिल्क का चॉकलेट सबको पता है. इट हैज गॉट दोज स्क्वायर्स, है ना, 10 स्क्वायर्स वाला डेयरी मिल्क का चॉकलेट. हाँ, तो ये जो डेयरी मिल्क के जो 10 स्क्वायर्स है ना बेटा, 10 स्क्वायर्स, उसमें से एक स्क्वायर में अगर कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है ना, तो इट विल बी कॉल्ड एज जीन म्यूटेशन. ये डेयरी मिल्क के 10 स्क्वायर्स है, राइट, उसमें से किसी एक स्क्वायर में, एक पीस में अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है तो दैट विल बी कॉल्ड एज, या कोई चेंज हो जाता है तो इट विल बी कॉल्ड एज जीन म्यूटेशन. बट अगर पूरे 10 में से 10 ऑल्टर्ड है, 10 में से 10 में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, तो हम क्या कहते हैं, ये पूरा पैकेट ही खराब है. तो ये पूरा पैकेट मीन्स क्रोमोसोमल एबरेशन इन शॉर्ट. तो आगे जाके आपको जीन म्यूटेशंस एंड क्रोमोसोमल एबरेशंस के बारे में ऑफ कोर्स सर पढ़ाएंगे, तो वो टाइम पे आपको वो समझ में आ ही जाएगा व्हाट इज क्रोमोसोमल एबरेशन एंड व्हाट इज जीन म्यूटेशन. बट एज ऑफ नाउ यू ऑल अंडरस्टूड द मीनिंग ऑफ इट. A part of the chromosome, if it is going to get altered, it's gene mutation. If the entire chromosome gets altered, it is called as chromosomal aberration. समझ में आए ये दो words as of now? So of course sir will teach you all about these in details later on. But as of now, have you all followed, my dears? Anyone who did not understand the word gene mutation and chromosomal aberration? Got it? Okay, fine. So what was objectionable about the mutational theory is the genes were not mutating, the entire chromosome was mutating, or it was showing some difference in the chromosome and not in the gene. So that was the first objection that is put forward for mutational theory. Second, mutation is change in gene structure. Okay, so जब हम म्यूटेशन ये वर्ड नाम जब यूज करते हैं ना, तो जीन का स्ट्रक्चर पूरा चेंज हो जाता है, ऑल्टर हो जाता है. ओके, जैसे कि इधर आप देख सकते हो बेटा, ये वाला जो डायग्राम है, यू कैन वेरी वेल सी दिस इज गोइंग टू बी अ नॉर्मल जीन विच इज प्रोड्यूसिंग अ नॉर्मल प्रोटीन. ओके, लुक ओवर हियर, नाउ दिस जीन गॉट म्यूटेटेड. ये जो जीन है इसमें गड़बड़ हो गई, इसमें कुछ इशू हो गया, change हो गया. So look at the protein produced. Either it will produce abnormal protein or it will not produce any protein at all. Okay, तो ये है अपना normal gene, ये है अपना mutated gene. So what are they saying? See, mutation is change in gene structure. Look at the structure of the gene. ये normal है और इसका structure ही change हो गया. Right? Got it? Fine. Rate of mutation is not rapid. Rather, rate of mutation is very, very slow. Got it? तो ये देखो इसमें क्या हो गया, ये डिलीशंस है, दिस इज योर ब्रेक्स इन क्रोमोसोम. तो ये पूरा क्रोमोसोम ब्रेक हो गया और ये छोटा हो गया. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज क्रोमोसोमल एब्रेशन. तो जैसे मैंने कहा कि पूरे 10 के स्लैब में ही कुछ गड़बड़ हो गई है, तो इट इज गोइंग टू बी योर क्रोमोसोमल एब्रेशन. अगर एक जीन में सिर्फ कुछ प्रॉब्लम हुआ है, देन इट इज गोइंग टू बी योर जीन म्यूटेशन. Got it? Fine. So even mutational theory was not accepted, even it was rejected, which was put forward by Hugo de Vries. Then came the modern synthetic theory. Look at it. Based on Dobzhansky's book called as Genetics and Origin of Species, this modern synthetic theory was proposed. Julian Huxley proposed the term modern synthesis. It is a theory based on organic evolution by natural selection of inherited characteristics, explaining the concepts of theory of natural selections that were put forward by Charles Darwin and the mutational theory of Hugo de Vries in light of evidences based on genetics. So modern synthetic theory is using दोनों का knowledge. डार्विन का नॉलेज भी यूज किया गया है और इसका भी अपना ह्यूगो डे व्राइस का भी यूज किया गया है. So what is this modern synthetic theory? A combination of both the theories, that is mutational theory as well as Darwinism. Fine. It explains evolution in terms of genetic change in a population leading to the origin of new species. So here they are talking about how the new species have been formed. So look, a group of similar individuals interbreeding among themselves, occupying a geographical area, is called as genetic population or Mendelian population. You know what is Mendelian population since you all are doing that chapter of Mendelism. So this is nothing but your Mendelian population. The population is considered as a unit of evolution because new species are evolved from the population and not from a single individual. It is not one single individual who is undergoing mutation, but it is the entire population which is undergoing mutation. Okay, right? हाँ, Mendelian population. Mendel's law कर रहे हो ना बेटा आप लोग? So Mendelism and neo-Mendelism. So the population which is going to be associated with following of the Mendel's laws are going to be your Mendelian populations. So they are capable of interbreeding. So the plants, they are capable of selfing, as we say. In your books, it's called as selfing, right? So those who are capable of interbreeding among themselves and they occupy the same geographical area. So they are not going to be far away from each other because selfing is going to be predominantly seen, right? That is going to be your Mendelian population. Yeah, self-pollinating or selfing जिसको हम कहते हैं. Okay. Then the sum total of, where are we? Huh. The sum total of genes of all individuals of interbreeding population is called as the gene pool. Now please understand this very nicely, beta. You can see over here in this particular diagram, I can show you. You can see, one, two, and three different types of frogs: red, green, and purple. Right? Three different types. इन तीनों में कुछ ना कुछ एक दूसरे से डिफरेंट है ये, राइट? तो जीन पूल इस एरिया का क्या हो गया बेटा? हाउ मेनी ग्रीन्स? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So 12 green genes means genes of the green frog, right? One particular group of genes from the red frog and two from the purple or whatever violet frogs, है ना? तो इस एरिया में अगर हम जितने भी फ्रॉग्स है उनके अगर जीन्स को अगर हम लोग इकट्ठा कर ले तो उसमें हमें कितने टाइप्स के जीन्स मिलेंगे? अ ग्रुप ऑफ जीन्स फ्रॉम ग्रीन कलर फ्रॉग, a group of genes from red color frog and a group of genes from purple color frog. So this is going to be called as a gene pool. Okay, pooling matlab kya? Coming together. Okay, so when all these three types of genes would come together in that particular area, we call it as gene pool. Okay, got it? Now see, the proportion of an allele in the gene pool as compared with other alleles at the same locus is called as gene frequency. So you already know what is an allele, right? You know what is an allele? What is an allele, beta? Can anyone tell me what is an allele? चलो, प्रिंसिपल्स, एलील क्या होता है बताओ? ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, इसलिए मैंने अभी ये चैप्टर स्टार्ट किया बिकॉज तुम्हारा प्रिंसिपल्स चल रहा है. नो, कैरेक्टर्स आर नॉट एलील्स बेटा. Yes, Ansh, you are right. Ansh, you are right. Others, come on, try to answer. Okay, okay, Prachi also correct. Correct, Devang. Yeah. So, like when we talk about the word, Acha, tell me one thing. Can we see alleles? Can we see alleles? Can we see traits? अच्छा, what is a character, what is a trait and what is an allele? अगर ऐसे आपको तीन पूछा जाए, हाँ, what is a character, what is a trait एंड व्हाट आर एलील्स? तो आप मुझे कोई एग्जांपल दोगे कि ये कैरेक्टर है, ये ट्रेट है, ये उसकी एलील्स है? चलो। On an example, just give me, this is character is this, trait is this, alleles is this. With example कोई बताएगा बेटा? Very good, Parnavi. Yeah. Tell me the alleles for that. Come on. Otherwise, I won't be able to explain you all this last point. Okay. Fine. Few of you are giving me the correct type of things. I'll tell you very simple way में. Character is the feature of an organism. कोई भी फीचर, जैसे कि अगर आप कोई अननोन बंदे को मिलते हो, हाँ, आप आज कहीं बाहर गए हो और आप एक अननोन बंदे को मिलते हो और घर पे आके आप डिफाइन करते हो ना उस बंदे को, मम्मी को बताते हो, पापा को बताते हो, पता है पापा आज क्या हो गया, आज है ना मैं इधर इधर गया था एंड आई सॉ अ पर्सन हु वाज सो टॉल, ही वाज वेरी डार्क, he had curly hair, his nose was short, his eyes were so small. है या नहीं? आप डिफाइन करते हो ना उस बंदे को। तो जो जो कैरेक्टर्स आप यूज करते हो ना डिफाइन करने के लिए, जो जो चीजें आप यूज करते हो ना डिफाइन करने के लिए, दोज ऑल विल बी द कैरेक्टर्स, इंक्लूडिंग उसका स्वभाव। उस बंदे का नेचर कैसा है ना, वो भी एक कैरेक्टर ही है। ठीक है? सो द शेप ऑफ द नोज, द साइज ऑफ द नोज, हाँ, the size of the cheeks, shape of the cheeks, color of the eyes, shape of the eyes, right? ये सारी जो चीजें आप डिफाइन करते हो ना घर पे आके, those all will be your characters. So characters are nothing but features, right? Traits जो होते हैं ना, traits, what are traits? They are going to be the types of alterations seen for that character. जैसे कि आपको 4 बंदे मिलते हैं, 4 बंदे, आज आप बाहर गए, आपको 4 लोग मिले और चारों के आई कलर डिफरेंट थे, तो आप क्या बोलोगे? मैं आज बाहर गया था तो मुझे 4 लोग मिले, एक ऐसा दिख रहा था, दूसरा ऐसा दिख रहा था, एक के कलर ब्लैक आईज थे, दूसरे के ब्राउन थे, तीसरे के ब्लू थे, चौथे के ग्रीन थे। तो आप क्या कर रहे हो? आप कलर को डिफाइन कर रहे हो, किसमें? 4 लोगों में। So whenever in a population, alternative forms of that characters are going to be seen. That will be called as traits. That can be seen, as I said, or that can be experienced. तो आज मैं 2 लोगों से मिला, उनमें से एक था ना बहुत इमोशनल था, मैं सिर्फ इतना बोला ना तो वो रो दिया। दूसरा था उसको कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा, मैं इतना गाली दिया फिर भी हंस हंस के जा रहा था। इंक्लूडिंग योर इमोशनल बिहेवियर, so including your behavioral pattern. So there are different types of people ना, कितने सारे different type के लोग होते हैं बेटा, कितने सारे you come across, right? Some people are so emotional that even when they are watching movie they start crying, like I don't understand. And some people like me, I laugh at them. अरे समझ में आ रहा है ये सब झूठ है, पर्दे पर दिखा रहा है तुम्हें, मतलब बस you take it and throw it. उसमें इतना इन्वॉल्व क्यों होने का? बट नहीं, कुछ लोग बहुत ज्यादा इन्वॉल्व हो जाते हैं, कुछ लोग को फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता है, चल रहा है ड्रामा, चल रहा है ड्रामा, चलने दो। है या नहीं बेटा? सो इवन नेचर के भी अलग अलग ट्रेट्स होते हैं। सो नॉट ओनली द ones which are seen but even which are experienced, that is traits. And who is responsible to show these traits? The one who is responsible to show these traits are your genes, are going to be your genes. It is in the genes. कहते हैं ना हम लोग, तुम ऐसे कैसे हो यार, ऐसे कैसे हो, क्या करूँ यार, फ्री गिफ्ट है। In the genes, we don't have a choice to select our own genes from our parents. Neither they do have the choice of giving their own, best selected genes to their offspring. So जो भी दिया जाता है या जो भी हमारे में आता है, it's a free gift and we have to accept that. Correct? Right? तो ये फ्री गिफ्ट है, ये जीन्स हमारे पास आए हैं और ये जीन्स के वजह से हम ऐसे दिखते हैं, हम वैसे बिहेव करते हैं, ये हमारे फीचर्स डिफाइंड होते हैं. Correct? Got it? So the ones which are responsible to express the traits are your genes. But those genes are always in a pair, one coming from father, one coming from mother. So the pair of genes, right? The pair of genes which are going to be got from our parents, right? उसकी जो सेम कॉपीज है, ये सेम कॉपीज. अगर ये दो आप मेरे फिंगर्स लेते हो, तो इफ दिस इज फॉर आई कलर, इवन दिस इज फॉर आई कलर. इफ दिस इज फॉर हेयर कलर, इवन दिस इज फॉर हेयर कलर. इफ दिस इज फॉर स्किन कलर, इवन दिस इज फॉर स्किन कलर, फॉर एग्जाम्पल. राइट? तो ये जो दो है, ये दो दो कॉपीज है बेटा जीन्स के. तो इसीलिए हम उसको क्या कहते हैं? एलील्स, ऑल्टरनेटिव फॉर्म्स ऑफ द सेम जीन. तो जीन एक ही है. क्या है जीन का नाम? क्या है? द जीन विच कोड्स फॉर कलर ऑफ आई. द जीन विच कोड्स फॉर कलर ऑफ आई. एक ही जीन है, बट वो दो टाइप के एलील्स है, दो ऑल्टरनेटिव फॉर्म्स है. ठीक है? एक पापा ने दिया हुआ है, एक मामा ने दिया हुआ है. तो उन दोनों ने जो हमारे हमारे क्रोमोसोम्स में ये जो दो जीन्स पड़े हुए हैं, उनको हम क्या कहेंगे? एलील्स. दे आर दी कॉन्ट्रास्टिंग और दे आर दी ऑल्टरनेटिव फॉर्म्स ऑफ द सेम जीन. यू कैन नॉट सी देम. आप बोल नहीं सकते ये देखो ये डोमिनेंट वाला एलील है, ये रेसेसिव वाला एलील है. कुछ नहीं दिखता है, उसका इफेक्ट दिखता है. और उसके इफेक्ट को हम क्या कहते हैं? ट्रेट कहते हैं. करेक्ट? गॉट इट? तो यहाँ पर जो फ्रीक्वेंसी मुझे डिफाइन करनी है, हाँ, व्हाट आई वाज सेइंग बेटा, सो ट्रेट इज लाइक अ वैरायटी. या परफेक्ट देवांग, यू आर परफेक्टली राइट. परफेक्टली राइट. करेक्ट. Okay, yeah, you're right. So what you are now, you understood? Character is a feature. What is the feature? Color of eye. What is the trait? What is the trait? Black, brown, blue, green, gray. वो traits हो गए in a population. एक बंदे में सारे कलर्स नहीं आ सकते. Oh my God, impossible, right? So it's in a population. And what are alleles? The effects that are going to be seen as traits are due to these alternative forms of the genes in an individual. ठीक है ना? अब ये क्या कहते हैं? फ्रीक्वेंसी ये कैसे डिफाइन कर रहे हैं? देखो, द प्रपोर्शन ऑफ एन एलील इन अ जीन पूल. Gene pool means it's going to be what? This is a gene pool. Can you see? Right? Which I said there are genes from green colored frogs, genes from red colored frogs, and genes from purple colored frogs. तो ये तीनों टाइप के ऑर्गेनिजम्स के अंदर से जो जीन का पूल बना है, उसकी बात कर रहे हैं वो. So the alleles in the gene pool as compared with other alleles at the same locus. With other alleles at the same locus. तो अगर आप देखोगे तो ये ग्रीन फ्रॉग है. तो ग्रीन फ्रॉग के लिए कलर का जीन जो है, सपोज दिस इज द स्किन कलर का जीन इन द फ्रॉग. ओके, सो इसका ग्रीन कलर के फ्रॉग का जो लोकस है, कलर ऑफ द स्किन का जो लोकस है, वो तो चेंज नहीं होगा, बट एलील की फ्रीक्वेंसी चेंज होगी. It could be for green, or it could be for red, or it could be for purple. Okay, that is called as gene frequency. So have you all understood this sentence very clearly? What is the gene pool and what is the gene frequency? The proportion of an allele in the gene pool. किसका proportion ज्यादा है बेटा? ग्रीन वाले का proportion ज्यादा है, पर्पल वाले का ज्यादा है कि रेड वाले का ज्यादा है? किसका proportion ज्यादा है इस population में? Can you all tell me? Whose proportion is maximum? Yes, है ना? You can clearly see green color का population is maximum. So the proportion of an allele in a gene pool, as of now green color का maximum वाला, as compared with other alleles. What are the other alleles? Purple color and red color के alleles at the same locus is gene frequency. So if I say that whose gene frequency would be maximum for the color of frog, what would be your answer? Very correct. Exactly, the green one. If I say in the gene pool, dash color frog have got the least gene frequency? Which color has got the least? Exactly. So now you got it. What is gene frequency, beta? है ना? Yes, correct. Right? So यहाँ पर देखो 20% green and 20% brown. Here it becomes 60% green and 40% brown after a year. So you know ये इसकी बातें हो रही है इनके लिए. इसका हो गया. ये second example है green and brown. Okay. So these keeps on changing eventually is what we have to understand. That is because of what? Genetic recombinations. Okay. Got it? So ये modern synthetic theory के बारे में किसी को कोई doubts है? Is anyone having any difficulty in understanding this particular section of modern synthetic theory? Anyone not followed anything? Very right, Devan. You're right, beta. You're right. Perfectly right. Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Anyone has got any doubts? So can I move ahead? जाऊं आगे? Oh, fine. Which is the fifth point that you have not understood, beta? 1 minute. I'll check. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. This Mendelian characters, I'm not going into the details because sir is already teaching you Mendelism. So he might have already explained about the Mendelian populations. So there are some which are called as Mendelian populations, some which are called as neo-Mendelistic populations. So if he has not, he will definitely tell you. He'll definitely tell you. As of now, what you have to understand is those group of organisms which are capable of interbreeding and they are present in the same geographical area will be called as your Mendelian populations. So if there's going to be a cat who is in Mumbai and there's a cat in Africa, they cannot be called as Mendelian populations because they are separated by geographical constraints. So they are not in the capacity to interbreed. So the ones which are capable of interbreeding and they are going to be in that same geographical area due to which the interbreeding is going to be possible will be called as your Mendelian population. Okay, now got it? Yes. Yeah. Then yes, these are the concepts of modern synthetic theory. A genetic variation, first one is the genetic variation. The change in gene and gene frequency is called as genetic variation. It is the raw material for evolution. What are the reasons for genetic variations? Very interesting reasons are there, beta. First is gene mutation, change in genetic makeup of a gene. They introduce variations in the gene pool and thus alter the gene frequency. So whenever there is going to be change in the gene, what will happen? New, जैसे कि ग्रीन फ्रॉग्स में दो न्यू जीन वेरिएशंस आपको दिखाई दिए, पर्पल कलर का और रेड कलर का. That may be because of gene mutation. Second, they say the reason for mutation or genetic variation is going to be what, according to the scientist, is gene flow. Transfer of genes between populations that differ genetically from one another is called as gene flow. See, for example, when an animal migrates from an area to another, they contribute their genes to the gene pool of that area and thus alter the gene frequency. राइट. तो ये रेड फ्रॉग जो था ना, प्रोबेबली वो किसी दूसरे एरिया से ये ग्रीन फ्रॉग के अंदर आके मर्ज हो गया. इट बिकेम अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप नाउ. So what has happened? Now he has contributed his genes to the gene pool. That is called as gene flow, which flows from one place to another. He might have, got transported via whatever reason. Maybe वो एक शिप में बैठ गया और वो शिप 7 समुंदर पार करके कहीं और दूसरे प्लेस चली गई फॉरेन कंट्रीज में. तो वहाँ का पॉपुलेशन ग्रीन फ्रॉग्स का था. ये वाला रेड कलर का फ्रॉग है. उधर जाने के बाद जब लैंड किया तो वो उधर जाके एड ऑन हो गया. सो ही हैज नाउ एडेड द रेड जीन्स टू द ग्रीन पूल. डिड यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज जीन फ्लो? राइट. This happens much with human beings, right? We keep on migrating. Human beings have got the habit of migrating from this place to that place. So we keep on, altering our gene frequencies, right? Third, they are saying genetic recombination, which is very common. That is crossing over that takes place during your meiosis is going to result in genetic recombination. So meiosis and mitosis, we know, we have done everything in detail. So you know how the crossing over takes place and how the capital A and small a will be switched on and off, right? Fourth, they are saying is genetic drift. Now this is an important point. यहाँ पर Sewell Wright effect भी आपको समझना है. An alteration in allele frequency in natural population by pure chance is called as genetic drift. It's just by chance. Okay. For example, elimination of a particular allele from a population due to events like accidental death prior to mating of that particular organism, that is it being the sole possessor of that particular allele. So there's an organism which was that red one. He was all alone, right? Before that red frog could mate and produce, its progeny, उसके पहले ही अगर उसकी डेथ हो जाती है, drifted away, gone. Now in that population there is no red frog available then to have any red color के frogs further. उसको हम कहते हैं जेनेटिक ड्रिफ्ट. उसी के पास वो रेड कलर की जीन थी, उसी के पास वो रेड एलील्स थे, वही मर गया बिफोर मेटिंग. So there is no chance of now having any red colored frog. Got it? Smaller populations have greater chances of the genetic drift. It is also called as Sewell Wright effect. That's what I said. So what is Sewell Wright effect? समझ में आ गया? Drifting means getting completely eliminated from the population before mating is called as genetic drift. And chromosomal aberrations, as I said just now, पूरे chocolate में ही गड़बड़ है. So structural alterations in the chromosome causing changes in the gene arrangement, they also cause variations in Mendelian population. Yeah. So chromosomal aberrations का best example बताऊँ आपको? Chromosomal aberration का best example है कौन सा वाला दे दूँ? Something called as, have you all heard about this Cridu-Chat? CRIDUCHAT, Cridu-Chat syndrome. Cridu-Chat syndrome में क्या होता है ना बेटा? It's a syndrome. It's a disorder seen in human beings. क्रोमोसोम नंबर 5 का जो लॉन्ग आर्म होता है ना, वो टूट जाता है. क्रोमोसोम नंबर 5 का जो लॉन्ग आर्म है वो टूट जाता है because of whatever reason. Okay, then that will lead to the formation of newborn children, to cry like cats. Therefore it's called as Cry-Do-Chat, crying like cats. Okay, तो वो बच्चे जो होते हैं ना, वो they actually cry like cats और उनकी लाइफ बहुत कम होती है. They die as children only. Small infants के टाइम जब तक वो हो नहीं जाते हैं ना, they get killed. Okay, so that is your chromosomal aberration. मतलब क्रोमोसोम में ही कुछ गड़बड़ हो गई है, ना कि सिर्फ एक पर्टिकुलर जीन में, पूरे क्रोमोसोम में. एक पीस ऑफ चॉकलेट में गड़बड़ नहीं है, पूरा चॉकलेट ही गड़बड़ है, तो उसको हमें एलिमिनेट करना पड़ता है, निकाल देना पड़ता है. We have to throw it off. Okay, so these are 5 reasons which are the cause of genetic variations. Any point not understood over here? This also question comes for 2 marks. Explain the genetic variations of the modern synthetic theory. So you're ought to write these 5 points. What are the reasons for genetic variations? Genetic drift, Sewell's effect, I'll show you with the photograph, तो और easily समझ में आ जाएगा. ये इसलिए मैंने बोला कि मैं फोटोग्राफ के हिसाब से तुम्हें पढ़ाती हूँ, है ना. तो ये देखो, ये जो है ना, यू कैन वेरी वेल सी, स्पेशली यू कैन सी जिराफ के कलर्स वेरिएशंस देखो, ये ऑयस्टर्स के कलर्स देखो, ये बग्स के कलर्स देखो. लुक एट द 4 डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ टाइगर्स, राइट. सो दिस इज व्हाट बेटा, this is what these 4 are together now, so there is a high chance of having a interbreeding among them and having a progeny. Correct, right? ये किसका एग्जाम्पल है? ये किसका एग्जाम्पल है आपका? What is this? The variations. इसमें you can see the gene mutation is this effect. Gene frequency you can see. You can see the gene frequency. Here there are blue color birds. Here there are red color birds. Right? You can see in this chart very nicely. So now what are they saying? See, this blue one, if it comes over here, then the gene pool of this red will be having now the genes of the blue one. And if the red one comes over here, then this will be having the red one. Okay. So ye jo hai na, this is called as what? Gene frequency. Right? Look at this genetic drift. Okay. In this population, green and yellow, green and yellow, green and whatever. But these are killed. These green ones are killed before they have undergone mating. So now what will happen? Drifted. Chala gaya. Gone. Okay. So this is your genetic drift. This is your chromosomal aberration. So this was your chromosome number 21. ये पीस जो है वो एक्सचेंज हो गया दूसरे क्रोमोसोम के साथ और ये देखो ये टूट के दो छोटे हो गए तो ये क्रोमोसोम में ही गड़बड़ हो गई है दिस इज योर क्रोमोसोमल एब्रेशन एंड जेनेटिक रिकॉम्बिनेशन टू यू नो क्रॉसिंग ओवर दैट टेक्स प्लेस blue will have a red and red will have a blue, right? So now you understood the drift. Clear? One more example I can give you for genetic drift. You know what? Lata Mangeshkar has a unique voice, quality, and her feelness of her voice is very unique. No one in this world has got similar type of voice or same type of voice. Now, maybe there is a particular allele, a pair of allele present in her, which is responsible to give her that nightingale wala, voice. Itna beautiful voice. Ab kya ho gaya? She did not marry. She has got no children. So that gene or that allele which are there in her cannot be passed on to the next generation. So it has been drifted. There is a genetic drift for it. Now this particular voice can never be, passed on to the next generation. Okay. So if she would have married and if she would have had children, then probably at least, there was a chance that her offsprings could have these, melodious voice. But it has got drifted now. It's a genetic drift. Now that gene can never ever be again passed on. Okay, got it? What is genetic drift actually? Yes, yeah, she'll be the one and only one. Mama, I don't know about Salman Khan, but I only know about her. What is your doubt, beta? Down syndrome is not chromosomal aberration. It comes under your euploidy. Again, sir will talk about euploidy, aneuploidy, polyploidy, allopolyploidy, autopolyploidy, alloautopolyploidy. All will be taught to you all. Sir will take care of those. Okay. So it's not going to be chromosomal aberration. Fine, fine. So anyone having doubt in this now? Genetic variation wala part? Clear about this? So this thing we will do it in the next class, that is concepts of modern synthetic theory ना जो A हमने देख लिया, B natural selection है, C और भी कुछ है, तो ये A part हमने complete कर लिया है. In the next class I'll go ahead with B part, that is natural selection. Fine, understood till today? People still face such things due to, yes Prachi, you're right, you're perfectly right. In Hiroshima Nagasaki, people are still facing these type of things due to the radiations that had happened so many years before. Agreed. Okay, so in the next class we can go ahead with natural selection. Okay, chalo. As of now, bye bye, see you all, thank you so much and have a very nice day. Okay, bye, take care.